Good evening. No, good. I guess it's late. No, it's like 8:30 p.m. So good night, everybody. I guess even though I'm starting. What's up, everyone? How's everyone doing? I was about to say good morning for a second. I have no idea why. Oh, it's been a couple of weeks since I've gone live, since I've done a Plumecast. Been very busy. If you guys have seen my community posts, I'm now officially a father, so I've been dealing with a brand new little infant boy, which has been a joy, but very tiring. Haven't been sleeping at all. So but I got a little free time tonight. The wife was nice enough to say, "Hey, you know what? You go stream tonight. You go relax a little bit." And so I'm on here tonight streaming Plumecast. We're back. How's everyone doing? What's up, Raichi? What's up, Time Capsule? What's up, Mr. J? Please be respectful and constructive. I'm writing this for myself because I'm still in my roasting frenzy over 343 announcement. But this is Plumecast, a very civilized YouTube channel. It is a very civilized YouTube channel. I would agree. But you know what? 343. They deserve that roast. If you've watched my channel from before Halo Infinite was released, and all of the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and all the people just hating on 343, I was one of those people that was very, very optimistic. I thought that they were going to not drop the ball, but they've been dropping the ball, and it's not good. It's not good. Time Capsule. I believe deal will go through. It's expected that these regulators will have questions. I agree with that. 100%. I'm glad to be back, Rachel. I'm glad to be back. Everyone in the chat. Hope you guys are all doing good. Right. We got 23 people in here right now. So welcome back. If you are first time jumping into the Plumecast, but you've been watching my videos, welcome. This is my weekly gaming news podcast. I just go over a bunch of stuff in the news, and I generally talk about and drink a beer every week on the Plumecast. But this week, I decided because of 343. I'm just kidding. But anyways, I'm drinking some whiskey tonight. Just relaxing, drinking some whiskey, having a good time. But yeah, it's been a very interesting week with a lot of stuff that's been going on with the Activision Blizzard deal, with Halo Infinite and 343, with the Last of Us remake reviews, and there was some stuff coming out today about like them shipping the $100 edition and the packages being completely just destroyed and all that type of stuff. So we're gonna talk about all that stuff. First, what I've been playing. I've been honestly I made a video talking about this game, Saints Row. I've been playing Saints Row for I think I'm like over 30 hours now into it, and yeah, it's not a perfect game. It has lots of issues. It's not like a premiere, like you're not going to be blown away or anything. But one thing it does do that I think it does very well is it's very fun. It's very, very fun. I've been having a ton of fun playing Saints Row. I don't like the characters. I don't really care for the story too much. I mean, the story's okay, but the characters, like the three, I guess, characters, not including the character that you make within the game, very boring, very bland, nothing exciting there. I wish they were going back to like Saints Row 2 characters, but they decided not to do that. And I don't really play Saints Row for the story. I don't really play Saints Row for the huge character development. So that part's disappointing, but the gameplay itself has been a lot of fun. I've been going around just the city, just doing a bunch of stuff, blowing stuff up, doing wild things. Haven't had too many glitches. I have had some glitches, some bugs, but nothing too crazy that some people have been reporting, and I'm not sure. Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe it's an Xbox thing, so I feel like a lot of the bugs and errors and stuff like that are on PC. But it's been fun. It's been a fun game, and I'm gonna play through. I don't even know how much more of the story I have to do. I think I still have like a decent amount because I've literally just been doing random stuff in the game. I haven't even been going through the story. Sherwin Williams, thank you. Appreciate that. And happy long weekend to you. Drinking pale ale, Belga. I've had that. That is a good one. Great beer. Have I played the classic Saints Row games? I have played the classic Saints Row games. I've played 2. I played 1, but like 1 I just totally forget. I don't think I've played the third yet, but yeah, it's not the same, obviously, in terms of like the atmosphere, the humor, and all that stuff they're going for. That's a disappointment. I will admit that part is a disappointment for me. And the characters, like I said themselves, disappointment. But the core gameplay within it is just fun. Like I'm just sitting there mindless, not really thinking, just relaxing, going through and just like completing tasks and blowing stuff up and upgrading my car, upgrading my weapons, and all that type of stuff. So that part itself is fun. Let's say they put a different name, take out the Saints Row name, put a different name on the game. It's fun. It's a fun time. At the end of the day, it's not a perfect game. It's not like an 8 out of 10. It's probably like a 7 out of 10. But it reminds me a lot of Crackdown 3 in the sense where Crackdown 3 was not a great game objectively, but I had a ton of fun in that game. Like I probably spent like 30 to 40 hours right when I came out playing through it. And I don't regret any of that time because it was the whole entire time I was playing through it, I was enjoying myself. Maybe I just like bad games. I don't know. You guys tell me. Maybe I just like bad games. All right. We have Isaiah here saying Xbox has nothing to play in 2022. No first party except, well, Pentiment's coming. That's so the narrative that there's no first party games from Xbox 2022 is not true officially, right? Because Pentiment's coming in November. So we'll take that or leave it, but it's a fact. But there is a lot of stuff to play on Xbox via Game Pass. There's a ton of stuff to play. And plus third party AAA, tons to play. Tons to play. All right. So, should we jump in here to the first topic? I feel like everyone wants to talk about Activision Blizzard. So let's get into that. Hey, what's up, ASL Gamer? I love your channel. Been watching for a long time. Your views on things is awesome. Thanks, ASL Gamer. I appreciate that. Appreciate the support. Thanks for stopping by. Plumecast, thanks for watching the videos, all that type of stuff. We're getting I know in front of every video recently I've been asking, or I've been saying, if you enjoy the video, you're new here, hit that subscribe button. I don't really ask too much at the end of my videos. I do, but I don't think I do an over the top self promotion trying to get people to just subscribe to the channel. But we're almost at 8K. It'd be super cool to get to 10K at the end of this year, just like as a community goal, as a channel goal, as a personal goal, all that type of stuff. So hopefully we'll get there. I think at this rate right now, the way the channel is going, I think we have a good chance of getting there, but we'll see. But it'll be cool. Get this channel 10K. Okay, let's move over here. Let's get to the first topic here. Let me just get this stuff ready. Let me get this going here. Which we'll talk about I don't even think I really need to I already did a video talking about Phil Spencer's blog post, which I mean we can look at that. Just got to get it up here. All right. Ooh, all right. This is the big news this week. As we know, this was a time of the year where at the end of September 3rd. So September 3rd, I was really looking forward to the end of August, beginning of September to see what was going to happen with the CMA and the FTC. I don't know what's going on with that because I thought they had like 30 days to make a decision on if they wanted, if the answers were sufficient that Microsoft had provided, I believe, for their second inquiry into the deal. I thought that was like mid-July, but I guess not. I guess that's like kind of like a soft guideline for how long they have to respond. But I thought the FTC was going to come back with something. But the CMA had until September 1st to make a decision as to whether they wanted to have this deal go forward and push it through, or if they needed more information. As we know, with the CMA, they asked for more information, and literally they had said that a part of it was because they were wanting to see how this was going to affect competition, how this was going to essentially affect Sony, which is absolutely just, if you've been following the gaming industry at all for the last number of years, last number of generations, exclusivity has always been a part of the video game industry, but it's completely transitioning right now. And if you look at some of the stuff Sony has been doing just even recently, it's been super, super anti-consumer with the raising of the price of the PlayStation 5. All of the exclusive, random little exclusive things that they do, like exclusive quests, even when that they have the marketing rights with Call of Duty, not having content parity. I actually tweeted that out. One of the things that Phil Spencer wrote here, he apparently this was back in he quoted this to The Verge, a statement made to The Verge, okay? This is from Phil Spencer. He says, in January, we provided a signed agreement to Sony to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with feature and content parity. So right there, I mean, they're going like above and beyond, I would say. Well, I guess they're not going above and beyond. They're doing what they have to do to make sure that it goes through, but feature and content parity. Think about some of the Call of Duties. I think I could look like Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare. There's a bunch of other ones that had like Spec Ops came. I think maybe that was Modern Warfare. Spec Ops mode came a whole year on PlayStation before it came to Xbox. There was a whole zombies thing that came to PlayStation before it came to Xbox, and people were just starting to get access to it like in 2021. So feature and content parity on Call of Duty has not been a thing since Call of Duty has been under the marketing agreements for Sony. So he says they are signing an agreement to have feature and content parity for at least several more years beyond the current Sony contract, an offer that goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements. Now, for Call of Duty, for the community, for gaming, I mean, that's not a bad thing. Having content parity, having map parity, having feature parity within this game, because it's cross play, so it means that everybody gets to access the game and play all the new stuff at the same time. But the fact that the CMA is like trying to look into this and think that if Call of Duty's on Xbox, this is going to affect the competition in a way that they may want to try to block this deal because it could be bad for gaming industry, could be bad for competition, could be monopolistic, all that type of stuff, is crazy, because it obviously shows they have no idea what's been happening within the gaming industry over the last number of years. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of people there who probably don't follow the gaming industry closely. They just kind of, they're bureaucrats. I mean, they work in the government. They are looking at the stuff, multiple different things, right? Not just the gaming industry. But their response obviously shows that Sony clearly, when they were asked about this deal going through, said the similar things that they said to the Brazilian authority. Call of Duty is a huge game. They don't know if they'll be able to compete if it's locked to Microsoft. They don't even know if they can ever be able to create a competitor to Call of Duty, because it's literally in a genre of its own. All of these types of things that they said to the Brazilian authority, they obviously said to the CMA, and the CMA, because of that, has, I guess, decided that they need to get more information on this deal. And again, at the same time, it's not a big surprise because it is a $68.7 billion deal. So a second inquiry into this, or a request for more information, isn't a huge surprise. And I don't think in any way this is going to stop the deal. But it's just crazy when you sit back and look at some of the stuff Sony has been doing in generations, has been doing recently. And we're at a point right now that you kind of have to pander right now to Sony to make sure that this deal goes through. It's like they are the good guys within the gaming industry, when that is clearly not the case. Xbox, sure, they're a multi-trillion, or they're a $2 trillion company or whatever they are worth right now. They're just a huge corporation. They don't care about people. They don't care about us. If we died tomorrow, they wouldn't care. But when it comes to the gaming industry, Xbox themselves as a division has been very, very consumer friendly. And that's why it's like, this is a good thing. This is a good thing for Call of Duty. This is a good thing for all the franchises. We know at the end of the day, the worst thing that can happen, or not the worst, but like the extent to which these games will be locked away from people to play, will literally be on an ecosystem in Xbox Game Pass that can be accessed from multiple different devices. Where if it's the other way around, there's a chance that they're locked to literally a single console, which is a very finite amount of players. But Phil Spencer says that, hey, they went above and beyond. They signed an agreement to guarantee Call of Duty on PlayStation with these features and content across all devices for the next several years. Something we already kind of knew. He already talked about this way back in January. I think he tweeted it out or something, that they plan to have PlayStation or Call of Duty on PlayStation. Right? So this stuff isn't really brand new, but it seems like they have to reiterate it as they're getting asked these questions, which again shows that the people at the CMA obviously don't follow or care or like know too much about what's going on within gaming. But we go down here, and this is some of the stuff that Sony said. They say Sony claims it would be difficult for other developers to create a franchise that rivals Activision's Call of Duty, and that it stands out as a gaming category on its own. Something that like I don't agree with. How does it stand out as a gaming category? It's literally an FPS. I would say it's the biggest games, the biggest FPS. It's like when Call of Duty Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare 2 came out back on the 360 and the PS3. Honestly, those two games created a culture in video games. They created their own culture. That's how big they got. But in terms of a genre of a gaming category, it's a first-person shooter. And you're just laying down and saying, there's no way any competition will ever be able to compete with Call of Duty. Someday, though, maybe something bigger than Call of Duty could happen. I mean, at some point, it could eventually happen. You never know, but it could happen. There's a chance. It's not like it's a revolutionary game with revolutionary gameplay and something we've never seen before that nobody's ever going to be able to make and compete with. I mean, there's already huge games out there. Like, think about like CSGO on PC, how long that's been going, how strong that's been going for how many years, right? Think about Apex Legends, Battle Royale, and Fortnite. Well, I guess Fortnite is a third person, but Apex Legends, like, huge, right? Halo could have been in this category. I mean, Halo itself was a cultural phenomenon when it came out. We know what's going on with Halo right now, so no, it's not even close. But in terms of like being as big as Call of Duty, but they had a chance and they kind of blew it so far. But yeah, let's see I mean, we know what they said. We know what they said to the Brazilian Cade or whatever they're called, and what's going on with the CMA, and then Phil Spencer's response here. And one of the biggest things he says, which is something I don't think this is a surprise, but people took this as like, oh, now we have confirmation, but we intend to make Activision Blizzard's much loved library of games, Overwatch, Diablo, and Call of Duty, available in Game Pass. Of course, they're going to put them into Game Pass. But these games like Overwatch, Call of Duty, they'll be on other platforms. They may be perks within Game Pass, which will be really cool. You look at, for example, Riot, and that's I think people have forgotten that it's not out yet, but one of the big perks about Game Pass is going to be all of the Riot games like Valorant. You're going to get access to all of the heroes, and with these games as well, if they could do stuff like that, just add in extra perks where if you play Overwatch via Xbox Game Pass, you're going to get something that you wouldn't get if you played on PlayStation. And I think Xbox may take advantage of that in terms of its ecosystem to try to get people over to playing it there. And just the fact that it's in there, they don't have to pay for the game is huge. And then same with Call of Duty. They'll probably do some perks as well. It'll be interesting to see like how fast they start with ramping up the marketing for Call of Duty on Xbox after this deal goes through. Or are they going to be Mr. Nice Guy like they have been? Think about Deathloop right now, which is going to PS Plus. People are waiting for it on Xbox. Are they going to continue to be Mr. Nice Guy? And when this deal goes through for Modern Warfare 2, are they just not going to take advantage of the fact that it's an Xbox Game Studios game, or are they just going to let PlayStation continue to market Modern Warfare 2 since we know they do have the marketing rights? Or are they going to play ball and be competitive and just cut that marketing deal and instantly start marketing Call of Duty Modern Warfare with the Xboxes? Put the logo on the box, throw it out there in commercials and ads everywhere. Who knows? We'll see. I have a feeling they're going to be Mr. Nice Guy. It seems like they're continuing to be Mr. Nice Guy, and sometimes to the detriment of Xbox, some of the things that they do. It continues on here. He talks about like the mobile platform. We know mobile is huge now. Well, it's always been huge, but we know that these companies, even Sony themselves, with the purchase of Savage Gaming and the opening of their mobile development division, mobile is such a focus, and it's becoming more and more apparent that this deal is more so than anything is important for Xbox for mobile, because they know that like they don't even have to think about pushing hardware into people's hands. It's already in their hands. They literally just got to make sure that they push software that people want to play, and they get access to billions of people whether that's via the cloud or whether that's natively downloading games on your phone. So mobile's so big, and that's going to be interesting how that evolves, because in my mind, when I think about mobile games, I think about games I just don't want to play. Literally, I don't play any mobile games. I think about like these very, very casual style of games. But you think about Call of Duty Mobile, and you think about more IPs being used on the mobile platform that are looking and playing like something you would see on a console. Maybe not a Series X, but like a console of some sort. Maybe like the Xbox One or the Xbox 360. I don't know. But anyways, you get the point, right? Feels more like a non-casual video game. And maybe that's where they're going to try to transform the mobile platform into. Something more where it's like people who have phones and they detach their controllers, people try to appeal more to the people that went out and bought a Steam Deck. That type of the crowd. We'll see. I think that would be an interesting thing, and I would probably be more interested in the games that they deliver if they do go that route. But yeah, like this entire thing with Activision Blizzard, with the CMA, probably not surprising to most people in terms of the fact that it's such a big deal and that they're looking for more information. And then, hey, they get that information and they pass it through, or maybe they have more questions and they try to stop the deal from going through. I still don't see this deal stopping. I still think this deal is going to pass. It just doesn't make sense that why it wouldn't. Well, the frustrating part right now, I think for a lot of people, is the reasons why they're looking for more information, and it's so apparent that they have the people asking for more information are literally like looking out for a company that does everything they're accusing this deal is going to do, and worse. Like that's the weirdest and craziest part about it to me. All right, that's my rant. That's my rant on this. Let me see what you guys have to say about some of this. Okay, I gotta go way up here. I wish this thing goes to court because it might come to bite Sony for their scummy practices. Well, you could be right. You could be right, because if you remember the Epic versus Apple case, all of the stuff that came out about Sony in terms of like the crossplay in particular, and just how bad it made them look in terms of like a PR standpoint. Which I mean, people were always asking, like, why did PlayStation not want crossplay so badly, right? And we know why. It's just, again, it's the corporate greed of needing to make as much money on that bottom line, increasing those profits as much as possible. And I mean, you take a look at what Sony has done in the last 2 weeks or week or whatever they did it, when they raised the prices of the PlayStation 5 after reporting that they were already making money on the PS5 in 2021. And yeah, I get it. We've had inflation. The prices of things go up, but they're still probably making money off of the PS5. And the PS5, and they didn't raise it in the United States. You know, they didn't raise it in the United States, which is a country that has had record inflation as well. It's not just like they're the only country prospering right now without inflation. And I don't think they raised it in the United States because their market is probably so close in terms of sales and profits and all that type of stuff. They didn't want to affect that. But I can't even think of the last time, or if it has ever happened, that a console has gone up in price 2 years into this generation. Like the PS5 right now, I could rant on this forever, but I'll stop after this point. The PS5 right now, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but in Canada it's $649. $649, which is the original launch price of the PS3 in the United States, which was a price that when they came out, that was in Canada. In the United States, or $649 in Canada, which was a price when it first came out. People were just like outraged, up in arms, and now it's like, just because there's such a high demand for the console, people are literally, they don't care, I guess, that the the price has gone up. Well, maybe they do. It'll be very interesting to see like what happens to the sales in countries where the price has increased, especially in Canada. Like PS5 is $649.99 now. It was already $30 more than the Xbox Series X, and it was still selling out. Now that it's more money, we're going into Christmas, and parents are going to go to try to get a PS5 for their kids for Christmas. They're probably still going to pay it because that demand is still very high, and that's what Sony knows. They know that it doesn't really matter. They raise it by $20, they raise it by $50, wherever part of the world that you're in. There's going to be people that just like don't even notice the price range because they're going in, they're thinking that this is their one and only chance that they're going to be able to pick up a PS5, so they're going to go ahead and buy it. Or there's going to be people that just still like don't care what price the PS5 is, and they're going to go and purchase it. But it's not worth $650. It just isn't. The PS5 is not worth $650. It's a weaker console. It's a bigger console. It's an uglier console. Like, and you can't even use the argument about the exclusives because we already know what, like 14% of PlayStation users actually play the exclusives. People aren't even buying it for the exclusives. People are going in there and paying $50 over an Xbox Series X to play third-party games that they could play on the Series X. Is just a lack of, like, I guess, knowledge of the gaming industry, or like they don't follow it like I do, like you guys do, all that type of stuff. That's my rant. Like, yeah, that's my rant. Oh man. Okay, let's see what else we got here. As a PC gamer, I find PlayStation very overrated. I've played some of the exclusives released on Steam, like Spider-Man, which is a Batman Arkham clone with Spider-Man. Spider-Man's a great game. I'm not going to take away from Spider-Man. Arkham, incredible games. I love both of them. They're both great games. But yeah, like when it comes to the exclusives released by PlayStation, for me personally, God of War, very excited for it. Big fan of God of War. Loved the last one. Loved like the PS2 ones. Spider-Man. Really enjoy Spider-Man. Ratchet and Clank. Big Ratchet and Clank fan. I've played Ratchet and Clank since they first released on the PlayStation 2. But like everything else I'm thinking of, I'm not a big Uncharted guy. Not a Horizon guy. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima yet, but I feel like I would like Ghost of Tsushima. What else did they put out? I can't even think of them all. I don't know. Days Gone. I tried playing Days Gone twice. It's an okay game. It's a decent game. Gets boring fast. Both times I quit Days Gone probably like 10 to 15 hours in. Maybe not about 10 hours in. But yeah, like I don't get that excited about all the PlayStation exclusives coming out that a lot of people do. For me, it's like I'm a gameplay person. That's why I love Spider-Man. That's why I love Ratchet and Clank, God of War. I really like gameplay, but these really linear, cinematic, long cutscenes, I don't know. They just don't do it for me. They just don't do it for me all the time. I need to be able to sit down and feel like I'm really accomplishing something through the gameplay. We played Horizon Zero Dawn, enjoyed the game, but I saw a masterpiece like they told me it would be. I tried Horizon, the first one. Zero Dawn's first one, yeah. I don't know. I got bored of it. Not sure why. Just did. Sony can recycle the old game with better graphics. People still will shill $70 console exclusives are going downhill. I mean, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll talk about The Last of Us. We'll talk about The Last of Us remake. Phil already told Sony they will release COD for the next several years. Take that for what you will. Yeah, he told them twice. He told them way back in January when he tweeted it out. But now, these people aren't paying attention to what's going on. They're not looking at Phil Spencer's Twitter account in January. They're bureaucrats. They don't really care about gaming. It's just they look at the file when the file gets on their desk. And that's why he's had to reiterate everything. That's why he's had to write a blog post saying everything that he's literally already said, and just making sure that these people know that, like, if you just take 10 seconds, Google Xbox and what they've been doing in this generation, saying that they are going to potentially like hurt competition and like hold games from different platforms and all this type of stuff, is like the chances are so low with their ecosystem. Like there's more people playing games today because of Xbox, because of the transition with their strategy, moving companies away from console exclusivity, than there were last generation, and than there were the generation before. They've helped the industry grow immensely with what they've been doing. The future of gaming is where big corporations such as Microsoft or Amazon competing against each other. Sony don't have Microsoft money to buy big publishers to compete. Yeah, it could be. It could be, but that could also be a bad thing. Honestly, like if somehow Xbox takes a turn and they start to go like, okay, we're going to just do a bunch of anti-consumer things. I don't see it happening, but Amazon, you know, gotta be wary of them. I don't know. Will Sony ever... like Sony's still always going to be very competitive with how big their fan base is with the PlayStation, but they got to adjust to the market, which they are doing with the PlayStation Plus stuff, with PlayStation PC, with opening up PlayStation Mobile. Like they are adjusting. They're just, I feel like they adjusted just a little bit too late, that they are going to eventually fall behind Xbox, especially once this deal eventually passes. All right. If it was me, every game would be exclusive, and if Sony ever see it, it will be 2 years later. I mean, yeah, like me personally, I don't care. I couldn't care less if Call of Duty's on PlayStation. I couldn't care less if all the Activision Blizzard games go on to play. I honestly don't care. I honestly don't care, because they're in Game Pass. That's the thing. They're in Game Pass. They're in Game Pass. You don't need. It doesn't matter. I don't care if, like, what do I gain from somebody on PlayStation not playing the game? That's me from a consumer's perspective. If I was the head of Xbox, I would have to evaluate the numbers. I think like with Call of Duty. Yeah, like Call of Duty, probably the smarter business decision is to keep it on PlayStation. I don't know if they would be able to make back the amount of money they would lose from PlayStation gamers if they were to take it off that platform, from enough people going over and signing up to Xbox Game Pass. I'm not sure, because Call of Duty is PlayStation's biggest moneymaker. So from a business perspective, to them, it's like, okay, we're going to just keep making money off of these guys. I don't care. We'll leave it on there. But there's definitely games, there's games like I don't know, like Diablo. I don't know, that game doesn't need to see the light of day on PlayStation from a business perspective. What they're doing with Starfield doesn't need to see the light of day on PlayStation. But do I care from a consumer? No, I don't care. Honestly, don't care. Master Chief skin in COD. Yeah, that'll save Halo Infinite. That'll save 343. If 343 can actually get a skin out to COD in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah. Man, the Halo Infinite stuff is like, you see so many different takes about, okay, we'll go here. We'll jump over to Halo. You got me talking about Halo Infinite. We'll jump over that. We gotta read through some more of these comments. Full warning from the CMA just sounded like it's protecting Sony rather than consumers. I agree with that. I agree with that 100%. It's very, very odd. I think future IPs from Bethesda and Activision will be exclusive to Xbox and Windows. Microsoft will a lot of revenue keeping COD or Overwatch from PlayStation. Will lose a lot, I'm guessing you're saying? Yeah, I think they will. Nikita, what's up, man? Welcome. How you doing? Right. CMA says bring more games to the masses. Is uncompetitive how? Exactly. That's the question. How is that uncompetitive? It doesn't make any sense. That's what I mean. I know I've said this multiple times, but the people at the CMA, like, they have no idea what they're talking. They have no idea about the video game industry. They're literally just like files in front of their desk. They're evaluating the file with the information that has been given to them. And some of that information is Sony bitching about this deal. So they have to take action on it. That's like my best assumption as to what's going on. The only other thing I could think of is I kind of tweeted this out the other day was like, maybe because Microsoft is a $1 trillion corporation, they're in a league of their own. And maybe these authorities have more scrutiny because they're so big and because of the power that they wield. But honestly, I think it's literally just they're getting these documents in front of their desk to look at. I mean, they took up until the last hour to ask for this more information. I don't know if they could have. I'm assuming they could have like made a decision a couple days before if they had already made up their mind, but they took it to like the last hour. They make the decision. They have the file on their desk, and they're just basing their decisions off of the file that's on their desk. But I don't know. What do I know? This is what I think. I could be completely wrong. What about those Firefly editions? Yeah, that's crazy. We'll talk about that. I'm just going through some comments here. Mr. Durant Dark, welcome. Appreciate it. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. All right. Let's talk about The Last of Us. But first of all, thank you, Drawn TJ, for the $10 super chat. I really appreciate that. Says here, Sony is crying right now because they are scared of Microsoft for many years. Why won't Xbox compete now? They are scared because they poked the bear. You got competition. Yeah, they're terrified. They're obviously terrified of Call of Duty in particular, but they're also terrified of the power that Xbox wields right now with a growing subscription service, a thriving console that has completely destroyed the narrative that you need a console exclusives to push a console, an ecosystem that is literally growing every single day, and more content. Even though in 2022 people can make fun of it all they want, and yeah, they should have put some more first party games in 2022, should have had some sort of contingency plan for these delays. But a year where the only new first party game that's coming out, correct me if I'm wrong, is Pentiment in November, and that's like a indie game for essentially with like a group of 12 people at Obsidian making it, and the Series X and S is still thriving, and the subscription is still growing, and Xbox is continuously doing better in a year that you would consider in terms of first party one of their worst years. It's just showing the power of the value that they are giving to consumers and how that right now can't be matched. And it'll take a lot for PlayStation to be able to match it. And I mean, they're raising the prices of their consoles. They're going the opposite direction. So yeah, they're scared right now, and they're doing everything they can in their power to try to stop that train from barreling forward, I would say, from the looks of it. But yeah, thanks, John TJ, for the $10 super chat. Welcome to Plumecast. Okay, so let's talk about I don't know if you guys have seen this stuff here, but where is it? I don't know if you guys have seen this. So first of all, we know the deal with the Last of Us remake, right? I don't want this to seem like just a Microsoft's the best and bash Sony type podcast, but I mean, I'd be lying to you if I told you that I think some of the stuff Sony is doing is terrible, and a lot of stuff Xbox is doing this generation has been great. I mean, that's pretty obvious if you watch my videos. But anyways, Last of Us remake. We know the deal with this. It's out. It has, what's it sitting at right now on Metacritic? It's sitting at an 89, so it hasn't changed since I think I made a video talking about this. Hasn't changed. Getting multiple 10s and 90s One of the most ridiculous reviews is right here. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is IGN France. And they say here, if we were going to judge part 1 only as a remake, which isn't bringing anything gameplay or story-wise, the score would be 70. But at the end of the day, the Naughty Dog masterpiece is getting its best version yet. So it couldn't be anything else than a perfect 10. Is this not the most ridiculous thing that you've ever seen a reviewer write? They come here and they say the game's a 70, but you know what? It's a masterpiece because it's Naughty Dog. We're going to give it 100 on the scoreboard. We're going to prop up the score of it. We're going to help them get a higher Metacritic. We're going to do all these things, even though, you know, wink, wink, it's actually a 70 because there is nothing new to the gameplay. There is nothing new story-wise. The most ridiculous thing I think I've ever read in a review. One of the most ridiculous things. And it's just like, this is why you look at these big sites. It's hard to like trust a lot of them. It's hard to really know what's going on behind the scenes. How are they coming to these things? Did they even really play the game? Did they even play the game? You don't even know. You know? That's the issue with these. There was one, I mean, one of the best reviews I actually did read was from GameSpot. I know that's a huge site. I talked about it in my video. They gave it an 80, which is fine. An 80 is a fair score. I haven't played it, but like an 80 sounds a fair score based off of what they wrote and some of the things that they brought to the table in that review. And you know what? I'll just look it up here. GameSpot. All caps. And some of the things that they said in this review were really good. Like, let's see if I can grab it here. This is a very like objective way of looking at it. There's an argument to be made that The Last of Us Part 1 is too similar to the PS3 and PS4 versions to be considered a remake. And part of me agrees with that sentiment. The story is identical, the level design is exactly the same, and the gameplay, apart from the quality of life improvements, is unchanged. On paper, if you've played The Last of Us and remember it well, there's little reason to return to it on PlayStation 5. And then they goes through, he talks about what he likes, what he dislikes, all that type of stuff. Very, very fair, gives it an 8 out of 10. And this was a point I was trying to make. I made this point on Twitter, and I think this is a very valid thing when people are looking at these reviews, especially on Metacritic, especially with some of these reviewers that are giving it 100 and giving it 100 and saying things like this, or even if they don't say things like this, it's kind of almost better that they say this, even though they still give it 100. If you're reviewing The Last of Us Remake and you're not taking into account that the story hasn't changed, the gameplay essentially hasn't changed, it's the third time that the game has released, and they've cut 50% of the game by taking out actually good multiplayer mode, which was factions on the original game, then your opinion of the game to me is not an objective opinion. You have to make that comparison because you can literally go out and like get the remastered version and have a great time with it. You're probably not going to regret too much going to a store and spending $10-20, however much you can get a remastered version used now for, overspending $70 before taxes, which where I live, I'm pretty sure The Last of Us Remake is $90 before taxes. Honestly. Let's see. Like, I don't think you're going to regret picking up the remastered version. I can't type for shit. Remastered version if you can just get $89.99. If you could just get the remastered version instead of the remake. Like, I don't think the issue, the reason why I think these reviews are kind of dishonest is because customers who have no idea about the industry, customers who don't know about the remaster, customers who don't know what is available to them are going to read these reviews and think that this is an edition of the game that is worth spending $90, $70. and they're gonna have the best experience ever with The Last of Us Part 1, where they could literally just pick up the remaster for a quarter of the price and probably still have the same great experience playing the game. So I think that if they don't mention that, this is the third time it's been released, they cut off the game, and that there's a remastered version out there that is like a 60 FPS version, all that type of stuff that you can play on PS5. It's just hard to take these reviews seriously. But that's not the kicker, I guess you could say, to what's going on right now with The Last of Us Remake. I don't know if you guys saw this. But there's a Firefly edition of this game, and I'll go to Reddit here. Why not? And it's $100 edition, so in US dollars. I always use US dollars, but when I quote these prices, I think about like how much it's like probably 130 in Canada. It's ridiculous. But there's a Firefly edition, and a lot of people have been posting this. These have been shipped straight out from Sony, and they're getting their packages here. The box just completely destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. People are complaining. People are tweeting it out, showing it off. Like you can see like the packaging is different. This is like, I mean, I get packages from Amazon all the time. I get packages from Best Buy. It's never this bad, but yeah, this is straight from Sony. Just absolutely destroyed packages for an exclusive or whatever, a collector's edition of the game that they're getting it. People are saying here, mine was pretty beat up too. All four corners were damaged, and the plastic holding the comics was torn on one corner, which caused the bottom part of the spines to get a bit damaged. I doubt that they'll fix it. And apparently Sony's responded and saying, tough luck. They say there's no replacements. They're giving bullshit 20% off another game on their store. So essentially, thanks for spending the money. Now spend more money. Holy shit. They're saying, go spend more money in our store where we make all the royalties off of the digital asset that you're going to buy, that you're going to be locked to our store to play, which means that you'll probably go spend more money, but here's 20% off. And that $100 collector's edition that you just spent your hard-earned money on, that's all broken. We don't care. Again, it's just another anti-consumer thing that PlayStation does. And at the end of the day, it's like, I feel bad that this is happening to people, but at the same time, it's like, for some of these people that have just know that Sony's, or not just know, but they kind of like support the way that Sony acts with their anti-consumer stuff. It's like, what else do you expect? I'm not surprised about this. This brings me back to my PS2 days. I don't know if I ever told the story on Plumecast, but I got into Xbox. I got into Xbox after PlayStation 2. I was a PlayStation gamer through and through since the PS1. Like I got PS1, PS2, had no interest in Xbox, but my PS2 DVD drive broke within the warranty. And I called PlayStation, and they essentially just said, tough luck, we're not replacing it. Because it wasn't covered under some weird stipulation of the warranty, whatever it was. Anyways. And that's how I ended up being like, you know what, I'm just literally just going to go play Xbox. And then my experience on Xbox has been great, literally since the OG Xbox, in terms of customer service, in terms of just everything that's going on now, the ecosystem, all type of stuff. So it's just, I'm not surprised about this. This is something they've been doing since like their inception. Like, this is terrible. You go down here into the comments and people are just like posting the editions of their games that have been like, hey, these people got it in a cardboard box. So they're just like having these weird shipping things. But I don't know. The Last of Us Remake, there's people who think it's like the greatest thing ever. It's worth the money. It's just, I think objectively, it's just not worth the money. It just isn't. Half the game's out. There isn't a huge improvement in the gameplay, if any. And that, you look at the comparison videos, like, let's look at some comparison videos. It's hard to type when there's a mic in your face and you're not like, your keyboard's off to the side. Let's always go to YouTube. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. Let's take a look at this. Like, I don't know. Like, this is the original. This is the remake. You guys see this?
Right now, I'm gonna jump down there and I'm gonna clear us a path.
What about me?
Shout out to Specializer on YouTube for this video.
I am. You seem to know your way around a gun. You reckon you can handle that?
Well, I sort of shot a rifle before, but it was at rats
Rats.
with BBs.
Well, it's the same basic concept. Lift it up. All right, now. You're gonna lean right into that stock, as it is gonna kick a hell of a lot more than any.
I don't know. It doesn't like. It's like.
Go and pull the bolt back. Grab it right there. Just tug it. There you go. And as soon as you fire,
It's like foggy in this one.
in there quick. Listen to me. If I get in
Let's go. Do they have any remaster version comparisons here? No, it's all original.
Oh, perfect.
But I mean, like, you look at this. This is the original. This is the remake. It's not like revolutionary in the advancement of the what they've done for these graphics. Sure, it looks better. I'm sure it plays much better too. But like, trying to say this is not a cash grab to me is like crazy. I don't know. Yeah. Here's LA and at least the bits where they do all three. So a little bit more interaction there. The car window breaks. Reflections are definitely going to be a big upgrade. That one looks like it's a bigger upgrade for sure when you're taking a look at it there. But anyways, you guys get the point of it. You guys get the point what I'm trying to say here. Not $70 worth. But and then the packaging stuff, I mean, that part's ridiculous. But what do you guys have to say about this? What are your guys' thoughts? I'm gonna jump over here, jump back here to some comments. All right. We got John TJ with another $10 super chat. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you for the support. Means a lot. Hey Plume, who do you think gets EA? Now let's say they don't get sold by the time the ABK deal is done. So you think Microsoft tries to get them, especially if you want the casual players? So there was, what was the rumor that it was Amazon looking to buy them, and then that rumor got squashed. EA said they're not trying to sell. I think EA is probably looking for a buyer right now. It's hard. I think it will be like an Amazon. It could be like a Microsoft. I doubt it would be like a Sony. It's got to be somebody really, really big. Would Microsoft try to get them? I think like they have like a decent relationship with them right now with EA Play. It could make sense for them to try to get it. The only thing I'm thinking right now, and I could be completely off base on this, is that with the scrutiny on Microsoft with the acquisition of Activision Blizzard, I feel like they may not try to go for such a huge purchase so soon after the deal. This may be like years down the road if they do try to get EA, if it is still available. They haven't found a buyer yet. I could see that happening, but they may try to. I feel like Microsoft right now is probably looking for some like smaller deals after this, and because we know Phil Spencer said that they are still looking to add to their portfolio through partnerships, through acquisitions, through whatever, any other deals that they want to make. I don't know. There's something telling me that like Microsoft's going to take a little bit of a break before another huge deal. But I probably thought that after Bethesda 2, and then here we saw Activision Blizzard. But EA would fit perfectly with Microsoft and Xbox with EA Play and Game Pass already. like Game Pass is essentially a sports pass for sports gamers. It's that great, and like there's a ton of great games in EA Play that you guys play, older titles from like the 360 era. Yeah, I don't know. The Amazon deal honestly sounded like that could be something, because we know they're trying to continue to grow their gaming side of the industry. I would say maybe Facebook somehow is going to try to grow their gaming side, but we know they just shut down Facebook gaming. It's going to join the ranks of Mixer. Oh my God, is that real from IGN? You couldn't make it up. Yeah, legit. I know, it's crazy. I couldn't believe when I read that quote. Last of Us Remake, $70. Massive Shadow of Colossus Remake, $40. Yeah. And you, like, I saw a comparison about, what was it? The Gears of War remaster. I know it's not a remake, but if you look at the Gears of War remaster that came out, it was really well done. And it had all the features, and it had multiplayer. And somehow the Metacritic on that was lower. But I mean, the Last of Us remake, like it was like a couple points lower, but the Last of Us remake is still getting like 90 and 100 and stuff like that. It's bad enough we got to worry about ponies. Now we got to worry about journalists too. I mean, if you read some of the reviews for The Last of Us remake, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It's like, if these journalists don't take into account it's a remake, same story, no multiplayer, no new gameplay improvements, and they don't add that in as a part of their review, they're just misleading the customer, in my opinion. They really are. I had a friend who just played the PS4 remastered version, and he's like, it was a great experience. I'm happy I didn't play and pay $70 for the remake, because it would have been a waste. Would have been a waste of money. Angry Joe just reposted his old review for it. That's great. That's smart. Sony is milking this game. Why would people buy it knowing it will lead to horrible Last of Us, leads to the horrible Last of Us Part 2? Yeah, seriously. I mean, I don't care if people spend their money. It's just like, it's crazy. Like with this one, some of the defense force that is out for it. This is the quality service Sony provides to its customers. Yeah. I honestly, they've been providing customer service like this forever. I really wasn't even that surprised when I saw that stuff. From Microsoft, get IO Interactive and Avalanche Studios and certain Infinity before getting EA, or get some EA studios and then go get NetherRealm studios. I think there's a lot of smaller studios they should be going out and probably getting before EA. I think they've got to try to expand even in Japan. They can do more Japanese deals and grow that market, because I don't know if you guys saw, but Xbox has been doing pretty good in Japan over the last tiny little bit. Let's see if I have it here. Over here. But this is a tweet here from Sloth, and FYI, Xbox Series X has sold over 16K units this week in Japan, reaching the highest sales to date. So 10,000 Series X, 6,682 Series S. These are the latest sales from Famitsu. Switch on top. No change there. PS5, 21,000. I guess the Switch, yeah, they got the OLED and they got the regular Switch. Series X, 10. Series S, 6,600. The Switch actually has 3 SKUs here that they count as separate sales. They got the OLED, the regular, and the light. So they're just absolutely destroying it. PS5 digital edition is under the Xbox Series S. Could be a stock thing as well. Who knows? But over 16,000 units of Xbox in Japan is Xbox is looking at that, and they're probably happy and satisfied right now as to the growth that they are getting this generation from where they were last generation. This is in 1 week. I feel like they're going to surpass the Xbox 360 this generation in terms of overall console sales and hardware sales. And again, it's a year where they don't have any first party games, essentially, other than Pentiment coming out in November, and they're still selling very well. Maybe people are preparing for Persona coming to Game Pass. Soul Hackers 2 coming onto Xbox probably has helped it somewhat in Japan. I wonder what else. I wonder what else will be pushing it forward that to bring people over. Game Pass itself, I'm assuming they are starting to realize, like, hey, this is a service with a ton of value and worth investing into. And I want to check it out. They go out, they purchase a Series. I mean, the Series X sold more than the Series S. And then the other thing is this PS5 has raised their prices in Japan for some crazy reason. They've raised their prices in Japan, a place where they just absolutely dominate Xbox. And like, if you're a customer, I'm sure there are going to be customers in Japan that are turned off by that and decide to go to the competition. And if anything, it'll just push more people over to the Nintendo Switch. So it's just nuts that they raised it in Japan as well. So Xbox is doing good in Japan. They're continuing to improve. The goal is to obviously get more games and more studios and more content that would appeal to that market base if they want to improve it, because that's probably a place where they have a lot of market potential to grow, and which would bring just more value over to Game Pass and more games to everyone. Right, what do we got here? Sony fans are like Nintendo fans. They defend nonsense. Yeah, essentially. We don't focus too much on Nintendo on this channel in terms of their fans. My like social feeds are really just Xbox and PlayStation fans. Really just like, I guess the algorithm has pushed that. But yeah, I mean, I like my Nintendo Switch. I like their first party games. Pretty much. Did you see Neil Druckmann tweeted out that he went to a round of golf? I did not see that. PS5 is a joke this generation, but yet there are still more than enough dumb people out there to keep it ahead of Xbox. Well, what I think has happened with PlayStation and stuff is just they've built so much loyalty and goodwill, or not even goodwill, because they do a lot of anti-stuff, but they built so much loyalty with the PS4 generation. The PS4 Xbox One generation did a lot of damage to the Xbox brand, because the 360, you gotta think about the Xbox. The OG Xbox was the new kid on the block. It came in, it did decent for what it was, for being brand new, trying to compete against Nintendo, trying to compete against PlayStation. And then you had the Xbox 360, which as superbly did extremely well, but people they still had their issues with the red ring of death, right? Like, imagine Xbox just decided not to fix all those. There wouldn't be any more Xboxes anymore. But people still always talk about red ring of death. It's definitely still something people think about. So 360 did well, right? It's that console in North America, at least, like most people were playing. And I guess their length of time that they have had to build up that like loyal consumer base has been less, meaning that they've needed to be more consistent so that people see it as a company that will continuously deliver. And that's why I think the Xbox One was such like a detriment to Xbox, which we're seeing them completely turning around now, but it was such a detriment because it's like 360 was great and people were just really starting to get into Xbox. They were really into it because of the 360, and they were waiting for them to like knock it out of the park with the Xbox One and then just be completely loyal to the brand, completely loyal to that ecosystem. and they dropped the ball. And all those people that were loyal or that were on 360 that loved Xbox went to PlayStation, and PS4 had a great generation. And a lot of those people just, they don't even think about Xbox anymore because of that. We're seeing that change so slowly with like how well they've been doing with Game Pass, and this generation you're seeing those consoles ramp up. But like this generation is going to be huge to build that loyalty. The next generation, they got to continue it. They can't do the Xbox One thing, or they'll be right back to square one. Takes a long time to build a loyal consumer base, but like you had the PS1, you had the PS2, you had the PS3. They faltered a bit, but still at the end of the generation, after they made all the adjustments, sold very, very well. And then you have the PS4, which was really phenomenal for PlayStation. And now you have all those people that have been playing from PS1 4 generations. They're just going to go pick up a PS5 no matter what at the end of the day. But you will slowly see some of those people transition. You will. Especially with like Activision Blizzard deal going through. It's going to be massive. Remake of The Last of Us is running a native 1440p, not native 4K, unfortunately. Okay. I think I saw that on Digital Foundry's video or something like that. Look at the detail on the roof of the car on the right. The $70 upgrade is worth it. Yeah, definitely. Take my $70. Take it. I don't need it. Take it, Naughty Dog. Take it, Neil. Still no Amazon Luna in Canada. That's true. Yeah. Totally forgot about Amazon Luna. So that thing's still going? Is Amazon Luna still a thing? Is Google Stadia still a thing? Okay. What's the last? What should we transition over to here? Halo Infinite. Yeah, let's talk Halo. We gotta talk Halo. Can't all be good news for Xbox, you know? Because the one I would say, well, the biggest dark spot right now on Xbox is Halo. In terms of what's 343 is doing to the franchise, what 343 is doing with just messing up this games as a service and the public opinion of it, the PR, all that type of stuff. So I don't know if you guys saw this. I'm sure you did. Halo Infinite update September 2022. They just did a long video doing, talking about everything, what they're going through with the development, all that type of stuff. Well, the main thing that they announced here was the extended season 2. They're doing this winter update. So from November 8th to March 7th, they delayed season 3 to March 7th. They've canceled couch co-op. Completely canceled it. It's not coming. There is a glitch that you can glitch into the game, which is hilarious that people are still finding ways to play couch co-op, even though 343 has come out and canceled it, meaning that the ability is in there. They just, they don't want to spend any more money or resources trying to flesh it out and get it out in a product release to the public. And here's what they've given us. Here's the roadmap. I mean, game's going to be out a year in November or December or whenever. I guess November is when they launched the multiplayer beta after the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. You got the Forge beta, campaign, and network co-op, and mission replay. It's something I talked about in my video. It's like, how was mission replay not there from the beginning? This should have been something that was like literally an easy update. This to me is just crazy. It took them this long to get mission replay into Halo Infinite. A free 30-tier battle pass, some new detachments, new maps, detachment Argyle, and then just some more XP stuff. And then you got season 3 here where you're going to get like some more maps and the custom game browser and the 100-tier battle pass and all type of stuff. And there's a huge debate here as to like what the problem is with Halo Infinite. Is 343, does the game need to be taken away from them? In fact, let's go over here. I think we saw there's a good thread. There's a good thread here from Jazz, who people are upset at 343, and I understand that they are upset. And honestly, to me, my take on no, why is it doing that? My take on 343 right now is like, they are a studio that is under Microsoft, a huge company. They have an insane amount of resources, and they're just literally not doing their job with Halo Infinite. They're not creating a live service game that people want to play. They aren't managing their resources properly to make sure the content gets out in a timely manner, content that people want to play. And at some point, there has to be some sort of leadership. There has to be some sort of like consequence to not doing this properly, because they are essentially right now, in the public opinion, the public view of Halo, is they are ruining the premier franchise for Microsoft, for Xbox. They're ruining one of the most iconic franchises in video games in a public like view of what people think about the game. It's absurd, this delay. It's absurd that they've taken this long to get content out. And at some point, somebody needs to step in. Xbox, some executive, Phil Spencer needs to come in, and they got to make sure that stuff starts coming out, because it could eventually end up being too late for Halo Infinite to recover. I know we saw the Master Chief Collection. We saw how that came out. That was a debacle, and that recovered decently well. But that also had way more content already in the box with it, with all the campaigns, and then all the multiplayer. The biggest thing with that was like the multiplayer just wasn't connecting and wasn't working. You have Halo Infinite here that has essentially a bare bones multiplayer. The best gameplay in Halo, I'll give them that. 343 did an outstanding job with the gameplay for Halo Infinite. It is great. It is awesome. Gunplay is great. The vehicles feel great. The maps that are in there now are decent. Like, the guns are fun to play with and use. It's a good Halo. It's a great Halo in terms of the gameplay. But they branded this thing as a live service game, and they have not at all lived up to it being a live service game that's worth coming back to for a lot of people. And they're losing people. And it's unfortunate, because will they come back once they release this content? Will they come back with this winter update? Maybe to check out Forge. We've seen Forge. Forge is like the saving grace, I would say, right now for Halo Infinite, because we've seen some of the stuff that people are making in Forge, and it looks absolutely incredible. And I think Forge is going to be great. But at the end of the day, 343 is literally counting on communities, people to make content for them for free in order to carry this game forward, which I think, again, is absurd. I think it's absurd with the size of the studio, with the resources that they have, to count on that as being the saving grace to push Halo Infinite and to continue for it to prosper and stuff. Like, we're coming up on a year on Halo Infinite. There should be a huge campaign update. There should be content in that campaign. We're not getting any of that. No campaign updates whatsoever. No new missions. No additional, biomes. No nothing. Nothing other than mission replay. Which I think at this point we would have thought that there would have been some sort of like expansion. Like, imagine they would have no first party games, but there's a huge expansion to the Halo Infinite campaign that they added this year. That would have been great. But 343, there's something's going on there. I don't know what it is. It's management. People can continuously say people are overreacting. I'm one of those people that was for 343. I didn't think that they were going to drop the ball. You watch any of my videos, I thought people were overreacting before the game released. Even just slightly after the game release, months after, I was like, okay, it's a live service game. They're working on it. They'll do it. But at this point, now that they've canceled couch co-op, there's no more chances. There's no more chances for them. They got to deliver, and they're not. And they just keep pushing stuff off, and they keep delaying stuff. And it sucks because it's such a premier franchise for Xbox. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing right here, is that it's giving Halo a bad name, essentially. People are not going to want to jump into the game. They're going to go in there. They're going to get bored quickly with the multiplayer once they've finished off their battle pass or whatever, finished off some of the stuff. and they may not go back, and we'll see if this game does recover once some of this stuff comes out. But even this roadmap that we have here, I don't know. It doesn't look like that much stuff. Like 2 new maps in the winter update. Ugh. 2 new maps. And then we have new maps season 3. Who knows what that means? 2 new maps only? We're just gonna get 2 new maps every update. One new piece of equipment. Like, how does it take this long to make some of this stuff? Maybe I just have no understanding of game development, but it just seems like we've seen other studios with live service games with less resources than 343 do greater things. And I guess that's where my frustration really comes in with this. So that's my rant. I could go over the stuff that they said, but we already know what they said. I just kind of wanted to rant on that a bit more. What do you guys think about Halo, about anything else? Whatever. We'll get back over here to the chat. All right. Let's go. Oh yeah, Halo Infinite exists. Exactly. I feel like that's what a lot of people, FPS fans, are thinking right now. As a fan. That's like just... It's sad. I love Halo. 343 has to destroy it. 343 should lose Halo, in my opinion. You know what? I've seen takes on this where it's like, well, if they lose 343, that's going to destroy the entire game. Where do you want Halo to go? What studio do you want to take it over? All this type of stuff. You know, at the end of the day, we don't work for Xbox. I don't work for Xbox. That's for them to figure out. They got to figure it out. They're getting, it's their job, and like the game makes tons of money for them. They got to figure it out. It's not up to like the fans to figure this stuff out. But if taking Halo away from 343 puts Halo in like a place where it's like, you know, it's in a lull for a couple of years, but then it really prospers after that, I think honestly at this point it's worth it, rather than just continuously beating a dead horse where they're just going to keep delaying stuff over and over again. Who knows why? There could be some serious problems going on in the engine, in the management. There's so many things that could be happening. We don't know, but at some point, it's your job. You got to deliver on your job. If you don't deliver on your job, someone else has got to, like, there's got to be some sort of like, you know, repercussions, or somebody's got to deliver on the job and they got to give it to somebody who will do it. That's like just real life, I guess. I just want more story content for Halo campaign. I agree. I really want more story content, and we're not getting that. Plume, do you think they should stick to traditional Halo and scrap live service, but bring the battle royale, or would you rather another studio got to try their take on Halo? If so, who? Yeah, from what we've seen so far with their 1 year and trying to make a live service game, I personally like go back to the traditional Halo. Just release a full game. Who screw this live service stuff? People will play Halo and stay playing Halo with its traditional game. What studio would I rather take on Halo? I don't know. ID Software, id Software, whatever they're called. Machine Games, maybe. Yeah. I mean, those are two pretty like experienced FPS studios that I think could make a great game. And I mean, you look at Doom, you look at Wolfenstein, both credible. And you know, honestly, it's like the Halo engine's there, the Halo lore is there, the Halo story is there. Everything is there for Halo. I don't even know if you need like that hugely experienced FPS developer to make this game. Like everything, the assets are there, everything's there, right? The coding's there, everything's there. I think you just potentially just need like some sort of like stricter management. The thing is, I don't know how 343 operates, but it just seems like it's like they just keep thinking that they can take all their time like and not deliver. No, people don't have problem when you delay a game, when you take your time to make sure that a good product comes out so that you don't get a buggy product and gamers have the best experience possible. The issue is 343 is taking their time and they're literally not delivering on anything. And they're canceling game modes and they're canceling co-op. So they're just wasting everyone's time. That's the issue. That's the issue. 2 years and it will be a done game. I hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. 2 years and it will be a done game. But the issue with that is, are people going to care about Halo Infinite in 2 years? Because you got to remember, they also delayed this game an entire year. They had a release date for November 15th, 2020. Oh, sorry. When was the Xbox Series X release? November 10th. Sorry. November 10th, 2020. That was like, they started working on Halo Infinite years before that, and they were told, hey, this is the release date. I'm assuming. Right? You got to get it out by this time. And they didn't meet that date, and they got delayed an entire year. And then they delayed it, and it still wasn't complete. It's been another year. The people are still waiting on more content. They're just releasing right now Mission Replay a year after the game's been out. Like, come on. There's only so much optimism I can or so much faith I can have, because I'm a very optimistic, faithful, give the benefit of the doubt type of person. I gave 343 and I gave Halo. Look at my videos, like me talking about it. I gave them. I always said people were just like, oh, they're overreacting, they're crazy, but I was wrong. I was completely wrong. They were right. I'm not afraid to admit it. Live Phoenix, I'm good. How you doing? How you doing tonight? Many friends lost faith on the franchise. They stopped playing MCC, Halo 5, and Infinite. Now they play free-to-play games with spending a single penny on the Xbox Store. This is a lot of gold sub money loss. Hey, I mean, I'm sure someone's looking at this and seeing the negative effects of that it's had on Xbox and had on the ecosystem. But, it could turn around. We've seen live service games turn around. But isn't this what you get when you eliminate crunch? That's a interesting question. I don't have the answer to that, but there are, I'm sure, plenty of studios out there that have eliminated crunch and have delivered on their goals. I don't think crunch is the only way you can deliver a game. It's the only way that you can release products and stuff in a timely manner. On top of that, 343 just hasn't been nearly as transparent as they need it to be. They're transparent to an extent, but the amount of people that I know couch co-op, for a lot of people, they don't care about it. But there are people like me, and there are lots of, I go on my social media, I've talked to people we're like, it's okay, we'll just wait till couch co-op comes out to play the campaign again. We'll just wait, no problem. I'll wait till couch co-op comes out, I'll play it with my buddy, I'll play through it once by myself, and then couch co-op comes out. We'll have those classic Halo game nights where everyone's in the room or your buddy's over and you're playing Halo. I was waiting for that, and now it's canceled. Come on, give me a break. In terms of crunch too, if you don't know, there was the Callisto Protocol thing that was going around today where Glenn Schofield tweeted about how he was, I may have it here actually. I may have it here. Oh, do I have it here? There's nothing up there. 1 second. Oh, it's not there. Glenn Schofield tweeted about the amount of hours people were working to make Callisto Protocol, essentially saying they were working 12 to 15 hours a day, but it was their employee's choice, and that's what you do if you love something. And then there's a lot of outrage over that. And to me, it's I don't know how I feel about that, but the Callisto Protocol literally was on a perfect marketing campaign. The amount of hype and the amount of positivity around that game was out of this world. It's like, dude, why would you tweet that out at this point? Whether the employees there are completely okay with the amount of time they're working or not, at the end of the day, it's like you just literally ruined a perfect marketing like campaign for the game, because you have the journalists jumping all over that, which is going to bring a lot of negative PR to it. Halo finish should have been delayed until December 2022 with co-op and Forge. Sure, it should have, but like, do we even have faith that 343 would have delivered all that? You know, these things are still subject to change from what they've said. And if they were still, I don't know, could they have delivered like that entire package for December 2022? Who knows? Halo Finite at this point, that's a good one. Microsoft should have bought Bungie before Sony did and said, "We are sorry. Now make a new Halo game." Then, yeah, where am I here? Glenn Schofield, wasn't he part of Sledgehammer Games working on some Call of Duty? He did work on Call of Duty, I believe so, like as a producer or something. But he's the head of Striking Force or Striking Point Studios, whatever it's called. They're making Callisto Protocol, which is like essentially a Dead Space imagine like a spiritual successor. And if you've seen any of the videos for Callisto Protocol, it looks like it's like could be, if it qualifies, I don't even know if it qualifies, but Game of the Year like candidate from what we're seeing. Looks incredible. And then today he tweeted out something about the amount of hours the employees at the studio are working and how they're doing that out of their own choice, and they do it because they love it. And it just brought a lot of negative PR to a game that essentially up to this point had zero negative PR. It was 100% hype, 100% positivity. A game that is going to sell like crazy. I'm sure it still will, but it was just like, tweet that out. And then he deleted it right away because he realized, oh shit, journalists are going to roast me for this. There's going to be articles coming out talking about the toxic workplace of Striking Force Studios, whatever it's called. I'm sure he got a little bit scared, but yeah. Anyways. That's essentially what happened with that. Game looks just fantastic. I can't wait for it. Journalists whine about everything, though. That's true. They do. Yeah. Can't argue with that one. Generic, how you doing? Welcome. Haven't played Dead Space, but I admit Callisto Protocol looks really good. I actually just recently played Dead Space, and it's a phenomenal game. I do recommend it. It's on Game Pass. You can play all the Dead Space games on Game Pass, or Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play. They're great games. I didn't find them that scary though. That's one thing. I didn't find them very, very scary. Or like I didn't find the first one very scary. Studios from Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, and third party have been delaying games this year, so it's a full industry-wide thing. So that's why I don't bash 343, but if they're still working at home, that needs to change. Yeah, there's definitely been delays. Yeah, I mean, across the entire industry, there have been delays. I think the issue is it's like if Halo's out, like Halo Infinite's out. You know, they released it. They released the full version of it. And maybe they should have delayed it again. Maybe they should have just delayed it again until they had consistent content to bring over to a live service game. This isn't just a game that isn't supposed to be having a battle pass. This is supposed to be having consistent upgrades to the multiplayer to keep people engaged. It is a live service game. This is the route that they chose. They didn't have to go this route. They chose this route because most likely it's because they believe it would probably maximize their profits, and it's backfiring on them. From what we can tell so far from the community, from what we're seeing people playing it and stuff. I don't know what the Xbox numbers are like, because you only see like the Steam numbers. I have no idea maybe Xbox is just booming right now in the amount of people that are playing it. But it is backfiring on them, where they could have just decided to take the route of releasing it as a normal Halo game, having the full package, and just giving like DLC later. And people probably wouldn't have been as upset. You know, they could have, if they would have delayed it another year and just released it as a full package with tons of content in the multiplayer side of things, and mission replay and couch co-op, like that would have solved all the issues. But they decided to go live service, so, and make it free to play. So I mean, that's on them, decision they made. And yeah, I don't know, that's it. Played Immortality Plume. I have not. Isn't that like a movie game sort of thing, like a full motion? It's like kind of like As Dusk Falls sort of style of game. I haven't played that yet. No, I've been just hooked on. I know people love to roast the Saints Row. It's not a perfect game. It's not great by any stretch of the imagination. It's not like a standout. I've had a ton of fun with playing Saints Row, so I've been hooked on just playing that, just because the gameplay has been a lot of fun for me. Forza Motorsport has GT7 and Halo Infinite examples of how not to release live service. Yeah, fair. It'll be interesting to see. I mean, that's the best contrast, I think, like that Xbox fans have with Xbox Game Studios. You have Playground, I guess Forza Horizon. Let's use Forza Horizon, not Forza Motorsport. You have Playground Games. You have 343. Playground Games announces something. You know that the product they put out is going to be complete. It's going to be extremely high quality, and you're not going to be upset with like the content that you're getting. And there's going to be always stuff to do within that game. Playground Games released Forza Horizon 5 and a huge, like a robust like DLC with Hot Wheels. And Halo Infinite released a campaign, which I thought was a good campaign. I had a ton of fun with it, don't get me wrong. Like, I really enjoyed the Halo Infinite campaign. But they released a campaign that wasn't complete. They didn't have mission replay, didn't have couch co-op. They released a multiplayer and live service that they've barely added new content to for an entire year. So, like, there's a huge difference between the contrasts within the Xbox Game Studios. Playground Games is making Fable 4 with Forza 5 engine. Yeah, I'm so excited for that. Honestly, I love Fable, and like, I'm so happy Playground's making that game, because I have pure faith that it's going to be just mind-blowing. It's going to be an incredible version of Halo. Full faith in Playground doing that. I know it's weird because they make racing games, but like, I think it could be like, I think it's going to be great. Oh, yeah. Fable 4 a complete reboot of the franchise? Essentially. Still have faith in it, though. All right. It's been a fun night, guys, I think. Going for about an hour and a half here. I think I'm going to call it happy that I was able to jump on Plumecast this week again. You know, it's been a little while. Schedule is starting to get back to normal. I'm hoping to continue Plumecast. I'm actually hoping to get guests on here in the upcoming weeks or so. That just takes planning and stuff, and I haven't had time to do that. But I'm hoping maybe by the end of September I'll start getting guests on here, and it turns more into a discussion and stuff. And I hope you guys are gonna stop by if that happens, and continue watching. And appreciate all the support we've been. But the channel's been getting been doing that push for 10K, and we're getting there. I mean, we're almost at 8K. If I get 10K by the end of the year, it'd be crazy. I'll be super excited, and great growth and for the community, I mean, as well. But appreciate all the support, guys. Yeah, watch out for videos coming next. Obviously videos coming almost daily, sometimes not on the weekend, but pretty much almost daily. But again, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you in the next video or in the next Plumecast.